Do you like Tony Hawk? Yeah, me neither. I'm glad we're on the same page. No, I'm joking. Obviously. I'm pretty sure that Mr. Hawk is the reason most of us had scraped knees after falling off a flat pill with 4 wheels. And his video games were definitely no help in this either. I don't need to say anything else. It's Tony Hawk. The second game is still the second highest rated game on Metacritic. It's fun. It's fast-paced skateboarding goodness. It's the reason that Goldfinger has a music career. It's just awesome. But what if I was to tell you that there's more? Some of them really good and others... But what if we took Tony Hawk, made it 2.5D, and make it look like Pendleton Ward vomited all over it? We'd have OlliOlli World, because vomiting is how most video games are born, meaning that EA must have some pretty late nights all the time. Now, OlliOlli World is a 2.5D skateboarding game released last year and is the 3rd game in a franchise, and seeing that I've only been aware of this game for the longest time, I'm sure that the other 2 games must have been just as popular. The game was developed by Roll7, which sounds like someone had a bad bail, and is available on consoles and PC. They were also the people behind Roller Dome. You know, roller skating with a mortality rate. But with all those introductions out of the way, I do think it's time that we stop talking about OlliOlli World and start talking about OlliOlli World to see whether or not this game can best Tony Hawk's 900 at the X Games or just be a bail that's gonna cause your medical bill to skyrocket. So what is this game all about? Well, for starters, the intro of the game is being narrated by someone in English, but when you talk to the NPCs before each run, they all sound like someone stubbed their toe and is trying not to curse. So already I don't know whose side of the story I should be listening to. The unskippable intro ends, we get thrusted into a character creator screen, and I make the character look exactly like me, and then we're off. Oh, before I press on, what is OlliOlli World about? Well, it seems that in this world, skateboarding is everything. Think Skater Heaven in Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2. And in this world, there are skate gods, spelled with the Z, to appeal to millennials, and to be the representative of the gods, they have someone called a skate wizard. Makes sense. All the shit that these people are able to pull off with these boards seem pretty magical to me, but she's retiring now, so I guess that's where we come in. So in OlliOlli World, we have 5 locations each to explore, ranging from a beachside, a forest, some place where weebs ran like Naruto, a factory that proves that pollution is possible in this world, and I guess Vegas, which means we're probably gonna lose our house in the next 2 hours. And as you can tell, because I was kind enough to put the footage I recorded on screen for you, all these places look absolutely stunning. The use of complementary colors makes every single location in the world pop. And the colors used to indicate certain things you can interact with in the world, like the grind rails and the walls you're able to ride on, it almost makes breaking a collarbone seem appealing. Though I applaud the graphical style, there's a part of me that also thinks that this art style is kind of wasted. Now, why is that? Look at the models. They have teeth. Look at all the pretty colors and all the objects. Look at all the smoke that's coming out from behind the wheel that's probably causing someone to suffocate. But in case you haven't noticed, oh yes, you haven't noticed, the game moves extremely, and I mean extremely fast. It moves so fast, I'm wondering if this is how fast my life is slipping away. The game even recommends that you put your TV on game mode. Well then, what do you do if you don't have a remote for your nearly 13-year-old television set game? On top of that, I'm playing this game on a PS4 on a display that only has 60 hairy zits, so I guess I'm just fucked. But all jokes aside, I did manage to end up getting used to this, but by the time I did, the game was over, so lovely. Let's talk about the characters. Those were the characters. Before each run, you get some flavor text from the supporting cast of the game, and you could choose to care to listen to learn about the world and its inhabitants, or you can literally tell them to piss off and skate. Which option do you think I chose? Well, seeing as I guess there's no story to the game, what do you do in said game? Well, essentially, you go level to level with the main goal of just trying to beat said level. Pretty simple, right? Well, you'd be correct. And you have to skate, grind, wall ride, not end up in the ER throughout all the stages in order to reach the end goal. So where is the depth? Well, before each run, you also get a set list of missions that you can do, ranging from stuff like pushing your board a few times to getting combos as high as my unlikelihood of meeting a woman. But here's the big funny. All of this is completely pointless unless you really like to unlock cosmetics. Yeah, by beating each stage and all of its side objectives, you're rewarded with a piece of clothing, meaning that you can go through twice the effort in order to look fancier, so I guess I could recommend this game if you're a materialist. And I find it incredibly funny that disrupting animals is something that counts for you getting to this gear, so I guess it's time to harass the wildlife to unlock a piece of denim. But the one collectible I'd say that matters the most in each stage is beating the scores of local heroes, because they're used to unlock even more stages throughout the map. Usually getting 25 is the number that you'll need. But don't worry, not even these are really necessary. The game even labels them as optional so that you know they don't matter. But you can also unlock side quests by finding characters that make me feel like I'm on an acid trip, and they usually have more interesting missions because all of them have a different stipulation in order to beat them. For example, holding a combo for 3 laps of the course. So what do I think about these stages? I think each of them are levels. Levels that are a treat to go through for visual reasons and all present different challenges for you to test your skills. I almost forgot to mention that they even have branching pathways depending on the route you chose to take, depending if you did a trick or not. And hell, sometimes you'll need to do certain things to progress the stage, otherwise you'll be stuck in a loop for eternity. The skate gods may be majestic, but they're also very unmerciful. Well, that's the stages. Let's talk about the most important part about any game, the loading screens. It shows off a random player doing a trick, or if you play alone, just your player, so you could be like me and use this to get a cool thumbnail or to scout your potential next trolling victim. So enough dilly-dallying, because that is a word that I needed to use. Let's get to the gameplay. And as I'm sure you can tell, we're missing a Z-axis, so we're basically fucked if we were planning on going forwards and backwards. You control your character with the controller. Yes, it works. You press X to use your legs in order to push you on the board to get more speed. I can't wait for the triggers to be used to control each lung. And you primarily use the left stick to ollie and pull off different tricks. And the direction of the motion that you flick the stick in will depend on what trick you pull off. It's almost like you're playing skate. Except this isn't an abandoned game franchise. And to continue with all this skating goodness, we use the right stick to do grabs, which all felt useless. We hold the left stick in any direction to do grinds as well as wall ride. You use the triggers to spin. You use the left stick in conjunction with the X button in order to initiate a manual. Flicking the right stick in a certain way while grinding will initiate a special grind, but holding the left stick and pressing the X button mid-grind will cause you to do a switch. Holding X while falling on stairs will scare them and not make them hurt you anymore. If you hold the circle button, you can do what the game calls late tricks, which I'm guessing are tricks that aren't committed to a relationship, which also never fucking worked for me. Holding the X button while holding the left stick while going downstairs will cause you to cause a house fire with the sparks your board creates, and those from my memory are all the things that you can do in OlliOlli World. So yeah, we've got some stuff to work with. And how does this all feel? Extremely chaotic. I'm gonna be honest here. In the first few stages of the game, the controls feel extremely smooth and responsive, and you're gonna feel like the skate wizard worthy of their namesakes at the beginning. But my goodness, couple everything that you can do in the game along with the speeds that make you worry you'll get whiplash, it can start to get a little bit much. You go from looking like a pro in Skate 3 to your 4-year-old cousin who sucks at fighting games. Now you could argue that this is a me problem because I have the reflexes of a newborn kitten, but my goodness, when you're trying to navigate through these stages while attempting to get as high of a combo as possible to ensure the best score, yeah, I stopped giving a shit halfway through. Look at these scores, man. I'm not a bank teller. Doesn't really help that another thing I forgot to mention is that the game has something called gnarly routes, which is not only a word I failed to understand, but they're the hardest routes in the entire game. Now normally switching lanes is how you access them, but in late game I landed in them without even realizing it, so I got knocked on my ass and needed to restart from my checkpoint or the start of the level all over again, making me lose my very cool 2x combo. Now I may be complaining a lot here because I'm almost halfway to 50, so expect that, but I should stress that all of this came from me wanting to try and get as high score as possible. I could describe the game's difficulty as something like Crash Bandicoot. You want to go through the game stage by stage, you'll have a fair and comfy ride, but trying to get to the end and trying to attempt to get every single trinket, or in this case side objective, you'll be 4 steps away from a manic state. But I did try to see how far I can get whilst trying to do everything, but around the halfway mark I just stopped caring. I don't need clothes. I wear the same shirt and jeans and all my shorts, and I want to be trusted with more than what I need. So if you're like me, what can you expect from this game just going stage to stage? Well, I can describe this as something similar to Rayman Origins and Legends, where it's got such a good flow to the movement and the levels that complement it, that it just feels satisfying enough to try and beat each stage without dying. And now with OlliOlli World having tricks spliced into it as well, when you're able to put all those tricks to good use and get a good combo going, that's immensely satisfying with how all the tricks and stuff link into one another. So overall, I think that the game's overall mechanics are fine when you're taking tricks and stuff at your own pace, and you can have a good time by just being a casual player. But if you do need that extra challenge, you do have all the optional stuff to keep you on your toes. But I did finish this game, so technically this can count as a review if I classified myself as that. So what happens at the ending? Well, you reach the final skate god, you get abducted, the Englishman from the beginning of the game comes back, and then credits. You see all the players that you spend so much time interacting with all get a happy ending, and then you get to skip everything. My goodness, what a fantastic ending. Now, there is one more thing left to do in this game. You can go to Nirvana and play through a random stage generator for about 2 minutes, and then you turn the game off to go play Agony. Alright, so now I'm officially back on YouTube in 2023. We're making good progress right now. So all in all, what did I think of OlliOlli World? Yes, that's what we're calling it now. I thought it was actually really fun. Besides all the stuff where, like, again, like I said, this could probably just be entirely like me problems where the game is a little bit too fast and the stuff you have to do to try and keep up with it is a bit too much. I still thought that the game was actually really fun. I didn't think I was going to get into it as much as I did because, like, the whole concept of a 2.5D skateboarding game going up against what I'm already used to with, like, the Tony Hawk games and stuff, I was really skeptical about it, but I actually did end up enjoying it. And so 100% I could say, as a solo player and as a casual player and as a hardcore player, I think you're safe with this. If you do own a PS4 and a PS5, the game is currently free on PS Plus, so be sure to grab it if you guys are interested. And even for its base price on, like, Xbox or Switch or Steam, I'm pretty convinced that you'll be safe with this one. So this has been the first proper video of the channel in 2023. So we're already starting off strong. So thank you guys all so much for watching. If you guys did enjoy the video, please consider liking and subscribing. If you guys didn't like the video, then get bailed. But any case, I have been John from the channel with the freakishly long name, and I will see you guys in the next video.